Yo, what is up guys? It is your boy FCuz here, as you guys know well and truly. Now today I'm bringing you a very special Rainbow Six Siege video. I'm bringing you tips and tricks. Now basically I have a brand new account because my old one, well, for some reason it doesn't work anymore. It won't let me sign into my PSN account, so I have a brand new account. Hence why I'm level 13 and I've got no DLC operators. I am so pissed off that I don't have any DLC operators, but this is a good chance to suggest, if you've just bought the game, what operators you should use. And this is my first tip of the video. You want to have 2 or 3 operators on each side that you are at least good with. You don't have to be great with them, just good, because then if someone takes one that you're good at, you always have one to fall back on. And the 3 that I always recommend are Sledge, Twitch, and IQ. Now, the reason that I say Sledge is because he has the L85A2, which is a very accurate and relatively high damaging weapon. He has a good secondary weapon with the SMG11, and he's very simple in terms of his gadget. He has the breaching hammer, which allows you to break through destructible surfaces like floorboards, walls, soft walls, that kind of thing. The reason that I say Twitch is because her F2 is insane. It's probably like the best attacking weapon in the whole game. Her pistol is good, she has a good secondary gadget, and her main gadget is very important, especially to take out mirrors. She has 2 shock drones that basically are used to disable enemy electronics. And the reason that I say IQ is because she's a 3-speed. She's got the 552 commando is very good. She's a very balanced character because she's got the AUG A2 as well. That's an amazing gun. Her secondary weapon's good. Her secondary gadget is good, and her main gadget is really good because you can locate people like Vigil, Echo, and basically everything that is electronic on the map you will detect with her gadget. For defense, I recommend Jaeger, Doc, and Rook. Now the reason that I say Jaeger is because his ADS, it's the only gadget in the game that can like do what his gadget does. His primary weapon is insane, his secondary weapons meh, and his secondary gadgets, you know, he has some pretty good secondary gadgets. Now Doc and Rook I kind of put up here because they basically do the same thing. They basically give you a little bit more health or reduce the health that you take. They have the same guns, and they basically have the same guns. Doc has a stim pistol, which is a hypodermic needle that basically revives you, a teammate, or gives you a temporary boost of health. And the primary weapons that they both have is an MP5, which is mental. They have a shotgun, which is actually my favorite shotgun in the game, and they also have the P90, or as I like to call it, the Meme 90. It's a pretty good weapon. Now Rook's special ability, his guns are the exact same. He has an armor pack. You basically throw it down on the floor and it gives you extra health, essentially. So yep, I'm going to tell you the rest of the tips now. Peace. Okay, so the second tip of the day is to make sure that you get intel. This is usually done on the attacking team by having operators that have, such as Dockerby, who else? Dockerby, Lion, etc. They are very, very good operators to get intel. Twitch is also very good because if you get the right intel and there's some electronics, you can destroy them. And not only that, droning in general gives you a massive amount of intel. It is super, super, super underrated, and I believe that more people should drone out more often because, well, not enough people do it really. So at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is drone more than you are droning, because obviously I would not be giving this as a tip if I didn't see people droning the amount that they should. I think that people should be droning more than they are, just because I don't see that much. Okay, so the second tip that I'm going to give you is to make sure you're working as a team. It doesn't matter if you're playing as a solo player, you have to work as a team, and this is done by if there's a load of hard breaches and soft breaches, but there's no people like Twitch or Thatcher, you need to make sure that you've got those characters as Twitch or Thatcher. Now, this is because, well, for one, if there's no Twitch or Thatcher and they've got a bandit, then you're pretty messed up. You're not going to be able to get that door open realistically. I mean, it is possible. I mean, you could break the floor above them if you've got a sledge and then shoot them out, but that's a lot more work, whereas you could just throw a Thatcher down and get it over and done with. Now, this is really good on maps like Chalet and Oregon and Clubhouse, where Habana is used a lot, and this goes for defense as well. If you have like 3 or 4 roamers on a team, you can't not have an anchor. You need to play that anchor role whether you like it or not, and this is because you need to have you need to have a balanced team. If you don't have a balanced team, then you're probably most likely going to lose the round. Now, in the gameplay here, you see me playing as the characters I recommended at the beginning. This is because, well, obviously I want to show you why I picked them. Most of the time here, you see me picking the P90 as a primary weapon. So yeah, you need to make sure that your team and the operator that you're using coincides with the team. So for instance, if you've got loads of intel players but you've got no flankers or entry denial characters, then you need to make sure that you get that. So I'm going to move on to the next tip, and the next tip is to do with how you're aiming. Oh my god, I don't see very many people doing this. You need to make sure that you're aiming around corners. Because if you don't aim around corners and somebody's around there, then you've just completely fucked yourself up. Honestly, I cannot tell you how many people have not been looking around corners, especially aiming. Even if you don't want to aim, at least put your crosshairs in that direction, even if you don't think there's going to be somebody there, because then if there is, you can always aim in and kill them, and you're going to have an advantage. Whereas if they weren't aiming and you were, you're going to have an advantage of most likely hitting where you're actually wanting to shoot. So this also goes with the next tip, and that is to make sure, right, you need to do this. You need to make sure that on defense you are having a good hard angle, angle, especially if you are a anchor like Doc or Rook. Now this is because if you don't have a good hard angle, then you're either going to be killed relatively early in the round, or like, if you don't have a good angle, then you're not going to be able to get that many kills. And although that isn't the aim of the game is to defend the objectives or attack the objectives. If you don't have good angles, you can't defend the objective very well anyway. For instance, if you are like the angle that you just saw me use a minute ago in the garage of this map. You've seen me aiming through the windows. Nobody's going to expect you there, especially if you leave the glass there. Leaving the glass there makes it harder for them to see you, but it also makes sure that they don't get hit and you need to fire more bullets than you need, which is why I break the glass. But nevertheless, yeah, that's that tip. So the next tip that I've got for you guys is to make sure that you use verticality. And what I mean by this is on maps such as Oregon, the floorboards are breakable in 99% of the time, and when you're on things like the stairs, if you're playing as a sledge or a buck, you can always shoot the top of the stairs to see down the stairs into the basement. That's very, very, very effective strategy. I don't see enough people doing it. It's really good if you're using a sledge or a Zofia, because buck's just too loud. But you know, you need to make sure you're using this. Another thing that I don't see people doing is using the upside down rappel technique that I use. I usually do this when I'm playing as Blackbeard or when I'm using somebody like Glaz, especially if I'm doing 1v1s or casual on house. I will usually rappel upside down up the side of the window near the spiral staircase and often shoot into the main bedroom. And the reason for this is nobody is going to expect you to be upside down, for one. Two, it's only your head showing. So yes, if they hit your head, you're dead, but that's not really going to happen because your head's going to be a really small target compared to their whole body. And not only this, you can use it to destroy gadgets and obviously kill people. Now the next thing that I'm going to say is to do with your operators again, and that is to make sure you know the operator that you are using. If you don't know the operator that you are using, you're not going to be able to play them as effectively as you can. For instance, Thermite, if you don't use his gadget and you don't know how to use his gadget, then you're not going to be a very good Thermite player because you're not doing a job. And if you're playing as a mirror and you don't know any good mirror spots, then you're also giving up a very high potential of somebody else who knows how to play mirror better than you, and you know, you could be playing a more simpler role that you know very well. Now the last tip that I'm going to give you guys is to make sure, please, 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 please do this, okay? You need to make sure that if there is a Cav or a Vigil or a Mozzie on the other team, you drone them out. Honestly, you need to drone roamers out anyway, but these are 3 ones that I don't see getting droned out enough. But anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace!